Happy Monday to you, everyone. It's me, your boy Ryan, aka Clutch Sports Talk in the building, man. I got a great show in store for you guys tonight. We got tons to talk about. As usual, again, I got Deshaun Watson. He's got some legal issues that might pose a bit of a problem for him, I would say. Let me know what you think. Also, I want to talk about the updates in NFL free agency. Some teams landed a few, special guys that they needed to help probably improve their chances for next season. Also, March Madness is continuing right now. We got some games going on. I believe Michigan and LSU are at halftime. That's going to be a close one. And also has some other thoughts on March Madness as well. And finally, LeBron James is out indefinitely with a high ankle sprain. Do the Lakers have what it takes to continue on their path to defend their NBA championship? I don't know. It looks kind of slim, but I'll give you my thoughts on that. So sit back and relax and enjoy the show. This is Clutch Sports Talk Live with me, Ryan Flowers. Let's go. Clutch Sports Talk Live with Ryan Flowers is presented by All Pro Digital Sports, the future in sports media content. Man, let's go. What up, what up, what up, what up? Welcome in, everyone. Hope you guys are having a wonderful, glorious, splendid Monday. Yes, it's the first day of the week for most of us, man. We are just getting back to the grind, but that's why I'm here. I am here to give you guys all the latest and greatest in sports news content and media with my show, Clutch Sports Talk Live with me, Ryan Flowers, man. Hey, if you're in the room right now, make sure you guys drop a like and a comment. Make sure you share. Go ahead. If you're on Facebook, hit that share button. If you're on Twitter watching this live feed, make sure you go ahead and hit that retweet button. And if you're watching live on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to my channel right now, Clutch Sports Talk, and also hit the share and like, comment, and section before. And make sure you leave a comment. Say what's up, how you doing? Have any questions for me? I'll be more than happy to answer those questions for you. So appreciate you, everyone that's been in the live and continue to support me. Hey, what can I say? I'm going to keep grinding as long as you guys keep listening. I appreciate that. So, but before I get into the show today, man, I want to kind of just send my condolences out to the Baylor family. Elgin Baylor, the Laker legend, great, played for several years with the Lakers and also was the GM for the Los Angeles Clippers for, I want to say, 2 decades at least. He passed away, I believe, to natural causes. So my condolences and prayers go out to him. He definitely was an absolutely amazing basketball player from what I've seen. Obviously, I wasn't old enough to watch him play, but for you old timers out there who actually got to witness to see Elgin Baylor play, you probably saw one of the great ones himself. And he actually did not do bad as a GM for the Clippers. I know you're like the Clippers. Look, before I was really into the Lakers, don't get me wrong, I'm from LA. I love LA everything. But the Clippers was one of my teams, one of my favorite teams growing up as a child. I would spend countless nights or games at the sports arena. And Elgin Baylor was the architect for a lot of those teams that I used to love and support back in the day, from the Danny Mannings, the Ron Harper days to the Darius Miles and Quentin Richardsons, those days. Just Elton Brand, just, great guy. He just happened to work for a really crappy owner at the time, Donald Sterling, who was, booted out. But, my thoughts and condolences go out to the Elgin Baylor family, man. He's a legend. He will be definitely missed. So, not much more I can say about that. So definitely, we lost a good one today. So prayers out to him and his family. All right. So switching over to one of the hot topics of debate and discussion in the National Football League. Yes, we got free agency, which I'm going to cover here in the next segment, but Deshaun Watson. Now, we all know the saga between the Texans and Deshaun Watson. He's not happy with the franchise. He said he will not play for them anymore. He's done. The Texans have basically, they've stayed, their course, and they're saying, look, we're not trading him. He's going to be a Texan. He's going to play. Okay, so this saga has made quite of a turn here. Now, allegedly, I believe it started last week. If I'm not mistaken. Allegedly, that Deshaun Watson was accused of some type of like sexual harassment towards some masseuses that he actually happened to use. That went from 3 to, I believe, now it's 13. Now it's 13 women now that have come out of the woodworks or wherever to claim that Deshaun Watson had sexually abused them or sexually harassed them. So allegedly, this is all alleged. Nothing has been confirmed. Nothing. He hasn't been found guilty, anything like that. He still has to go through his due process. Now, the attorney that's representing these women, these 13 women, he's going for blood. He doesn't want it to be a civil suit. He doesn't want Deshaun Watson to settle out of court with some money. He's going for the jugular. He's looking to file criminal charges on Deshaun Watson immediately. Immediately. Now, a lot of people will say this is kind of coincident because I guess apparently the attorney that's who's leading this thing is a neighbor or lives in the same neighborhood as the owner of the Houston Texans, Mr. McNair. Now, that's a coincidence? I don't know. Maybe not. Also, the other coincidence is, well, this is all funny now that because Deshaun Watson doesn't want to be a Houston Texan anymore, out of the blue somewhere. I'm not saying none of this stuff happened, which I'll talk to in a second, but it's kind of strange that all this stuff is coming to fruition now, given the fact that a lot of these things allegedly happened almost a year ago. And it's happening while they're in, I wouldn't say contract discussions, but him and the Texans and Deshaun Watson, they're not on good terms right now. So there are a lot of conspiracy theorists that are saying that, hey, this is all the Texans. The Texans have basically gone out of their way to go out and smear this young man's name because he doesn't want to play football for the Houston Texans, which I get it. At first I was against him doing what he was doing. I understand why he's doing it, but I thought there was another way he can go about it. It is what it is, but this is where we're at. I'm not saying that he deserves any of this. Now, if this stuff is true, he deserves whatever is coming to him. But here's the thing. The damage is done. Whether he gets cleared on charges or not, his name is going to will live in infamy now. He will be that guy that, allegedly committed sexual harassment against 13 women. That's a lot of women. So I guess there were some text messages. The text messages really didn't say too much, but the damage has already been done in my estimation. I feel like once you go after someone's character, and this is more than your reputation, your character. Your character is bigger than your reputation. Why? Because your reputation is what people know you as. Your character is who you actually are. That's my definition. That's the way I look at it. They're going after his character because for most of us, we don't think that Deshaun Watson is capable of this. Well, apparently 13 women says he is capable of it. Now, it has to be proven in a court of law. Information has to be gathered. So I'm not going to sit here and say he did it. I'm not going to say he didn't do it. All this stuff is alleged. But the fact of the matter remains, it's out there now. Regardless if he gets off or he has to pay some type of civil suit, it's almost like he did it in a sense. And so now the rest of his career, the rest of his life, he's going to have to go through it. Now, I know other athletes in the past, I believe Big Ben had a situation like this years ago. And I think over time, I think we all forgot about that. Now, he turned his life over to Christ. He just changed his whole lifestyle around. Okay. But it takes time. And even if Deshaun Watson, like I said, comes clear of this, it's definitely going to hurt him. Now, some NFL teams are saying that it doesn't matter right now. They are still willing to trade for this man. Now, as a GM right now, if I was one of those teams, I would have some reasonable doubt that I would have to be like, you know what? I don't know. Because here's the thing. If criminal charges are filed, then the NFL would have to definitely step in and they might have to, there might be some repercussions to that. He might be suspended. He might miss some games. So if I'm a team trading for him, because if I'm trading for him, guess what? You're giving the Texans a whole lot of stuff in a trade. There's not even a guarantee that he's going to even be the starting quarterback because why? He might be suspended. It's just sad that it's gotten to this point. But this is what it is. When you go against the establishment in such a way that Deshaun Watson is doing, you have to expect the kid gloves to come off. And I'm not saying what's happening is right. I'm not even saying if the Texans are doing this on purpose, but it's kind of ironic that all this is happening right now to him because he doesn't want to play there. So he honestly, he really just has to hold his ground. If he really believes in what he believes in, hold his ground and the truth will come out and hopefully he'll be clear to play and he can go on with the rest of his career, untarnished by any of these alleged activities that these 13 women have claimed he has committed. So it's a very touchy situation. I would not want to be Deshaun Watson at this point in time. I would not. Let me know what you guys think about that. Anything I missed on that particular situation, but we're going to keep it moving. So NFL free agency is still running. It's still going now. Like last week, it was just like it's a barn burner. Like everybody was signing everybody named mama. kind of slowed down a little bit. But there are some, free agents that, that come to mind to me, like big ones. Kenny Galladay, he signed I think it's a 3-4 year deal with the New York Giants to be basically their number one wide receiver. So if you're a Giants fan, you're pretty happy at this point. You're definitely pretty happy at this point. People are sleeping on the Giants offense right now. Now, one thing I will say is that by signing Kenny Galladay, they're letting everyone know, including Daniel Jones, the starting quarterback there, is like, hey, dude, like, you're on the clock. We're going to set you up with the most positive environment situation. You got targets up the wazoo. They saw Kyle Rudolph as well, too, just last week. You pair him up with Evan Ingram, who's been there, another tight end. Then Sterling Shepard. You got Saquon Barkley, Darius Slayton. They got talent on the offensive side. And their defense isn't actually that bad. They actually ended up signing Adoree Jackson, a cornerback from the Tennessee Titans, earlier today before the show. So their defense is not the problem. It's been their offense. So Daniel Jones, this is a prove-it year for him. The Giants need to know exactly what quarterback they're going to be. They're going to get before they kind of go out and make extend his offer. Because if not, they don't care. Joe Judge, the head coach of the New York Giants, he didn't draft Daniel Jones. He wasn't even a part of that. Dave Gettleman drafted Daniel Jones. But if Joe Judge doesn't like what he sees out of Daniel Jones, guess what? Daniel Jones is out. And they're going to go out in the draft and get someone. Maybe next year. Or who knows? We don't know. So the other one, the Dallas Cowboys, they won't go ahead and sign Keanu Neal. Now, the Cowboys have been very quiet in free agency. Now, when I say quiet, they went out and signed some guys, low-level dudes, mostly on the defensive line. They addressed, I guess, a need. Keanu Neal's coming off an Achilles injury. He last played for the Atlanta Falcons. He tore his Achilles, like I said. But now he's being signed by the Dallas Cowboys to come in and play the will inside linebacker or weak side linebacker, because he can he's a big dude. He can make tackles. He's really good in the run game. Not great in coverage. So the Cowboys are still in the market for a safety. And from what I understand from all the readings that I've read, Malik Hooker is probably still in their plans if they can get him to come and be their safety. And Keanu Neal will slide down and play linebacker when needed. So I don't know. But, we got some guys still out there. AJ Green, I believe he signed with the Arizona Cardinals last week, Friday. I didn't get a chance to talk about that. That's just another offensive weapon for the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, they're just simply doing what they need to do to try to be competitive in one of the most competitive divisions in all of football right now. So that's going to be a very, very, very good division as usual. But back to the NFC East, I think the NFC East right now, it was the worst division last year. I mean, there's no debating that, obviously. But I think with some of the moves that have been made, we don't know who can win that division. A lot of people last week, they liked the Washington football team. Now people like the New York football Giants. Some people still like the Cowboys because Dak is back. Now, we don't know what the hell the Eagles are doing. Eagles have been really quiet at this point. It's basically been I don't know what they're doing, to be honest with you. They're letting guys go, which I get it. Guys that they needed to let go, like Deshaun Jackson, Alshon Jeffrey. They traded away Carson Wentz. Really, we don't know what they're doing. But the NFC East, I think, will be better. One thing we do know about the National Football League is that, sometimes when teams are really bad one year, they can bounce back, man. They can bounce back. And some teams are good in free agency and some teams are just not good in free agency. Me personally, I'm not a fan of free agency because I feel like you're overpaying for guys that you probably should have drafted or you did draft and they didn't develop. Because there's no sense in having one team that was really good or really bad one year that you drafted, guys that you put together, and coming back the next season with the same team and not improving it. So guess what? You're forced to go on to free agency. So teams that are always in free agency, always getting guys, to me, there's a problem there. I feel like their drafting is not the best. So I'm okay if the Cowboys, me being a Cowboys fan, that they're not going out and getting every guy that's out there, because obviously you can't go out and do that. There's a salary cap. So, but free agency is still going on. It's a lot. There's some Juju Smith-Schuster. I forgot to talk about him. He's remaining with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, some people thought that there was a market for him. I was of the notion that there wasn't. Here's the thing about Juju Smith-Schuster. When AB left, well, actually, let's go back. When he played with AB and AB was there in Pittsburgh and he was the number one guy, Juju came out, broke out on the scene, had a tremendous rookie year. I believe he made an All-Pro. Then he was on the cover of Madden, doing all this other stuff. AB leaves. He has one season without AB. He's not. It's like, what happened to him? Not the same dude. You go into last year, really didn't have a productive season. And then all the social media stuff, all the other antics that followed him that were outside of football, I think it kind of gave people the wrong, it rubbed people the wrong way. It felt to me like, number one, is he a number one wide receiver? No, he's not. He's a decent slot. And that's it. And I think that's why there wasn't a big market from there. There were rumors that he'd probably go to the New York Jets. Didn't work out. But in the end, he ended up going back to the Steelers because the Steelers were like, look, we like you here. Just come and play here. We got other wide receivers that we're going to draft and we're going to bring in that may become number ones, but you're a decent slot. He's not a guy that's going to go out and just go get you 100 yards like that. He's good in between the numbers. He catches the ball about, 7-8 yards, good possession receiver, and that's about it. So they're paying him like that. So I like Juju Smith-Schuster, but hopefully he grows up just a little bit more, dials down on the TikToks and gets back in the lab and focusing on football. But we'll have to wait and see. So definitely be on the lookout for some more signings. But I think for the most part, the dust is pretty much settled. Now, there's some other guys out there, but I think for the most part, we are what we are at this point, and we just have to keep our next milestone in the National Football League is the combine and then the NFL draft, which I'm going to cover heavily here in the next couple months or so. So, all right, switching gears, March Madness, man. I mean, literally March Madness. We've got so many upsets so far. Right now, we got, I think, Michigan and LSU game going on right now. But from what I read, I think it's been about 12 upsets, the most ever in tournament history so far. And last week, I didn't go out and say it, but I'm not surprised of the outcome so far. That's what I'm saying, basically. I'm not surprised that a lot of these smaller teams, these mid-major teams, are actually doing well. Because if you really think about it, you got Kentucky's out. North Carolina really wasn't that strong. Duke didn't even make the tournament. Kentucky and Duke didn't even make the tournament. Louisville didn't make the tournament. All your perennial, top dogs didn't even make the tournament. So if Gonzaga is going to win it, this is the year for Gonzaga to win it. But I'm not surprised by all the upsets. I'm really not, because I haven't followed college basketball throughout the season very religiously, but I had the opportunity to actually watch a lot of the games this weekend. And really, one thing that really stood out to me was just the fact that these smaller schools, they have talent too, man. They have seniors. Here's the thing with basketball in relation to college basketball and college football. You don't have to be a big school to win in college basketball because it's a different type of sport. You look at Loyola Chicago. They just put a beat down on Illinois. Illinois won the Big Ten, which was arguably the best conference in college basketball this year. And Illinois was the number 1 seed team, and they beat them by double digits when they were underdogs by 7 points and just put a beat down on them. That's a number 1 seed team. So when I watch these teams, you can see good coaching. You can see they have a plan. And you can see that there's really strong leadership, not just athletes out there running around, which I think what happens a lot with the Kentuckys and even the Dukes of the world, where you get these one and done kids where they're super talented from an athletic standpoint, but they don't really know how to play basketball yet. So you run into a team like a Loyola. You look at the Pac-10 schools right now. I think they're 7-0 with 2 more teams to play tonight with USC and Colorado playing their respective games. So the Pac-10, Pac-12 can go 9-0. In the first 2 rounds. So, but college basketball definitely is going to I would say this, with the NBA allowing high school seniors to go back into the NBA to get in the draft again, don't be surprised to see a lot of these mid-major schools upset these teams in the tournament. So to me, is it really upsets? Yes, if you base it off of just the rankings and who's seated where. But as far as talent's concerned, I think college basketball it's pretty spread out. I don't think really, there hasn't really been a dynasty in college basketball in quite some time as far as teams winning championship over championship. Now, Villanova had a nice sort of run. I think they won 2 out of 3 or 2 out of 2 in the last 4 years or something like that. But the Dukes of the world, the Kentuckys, they're not going to be as good anymore, especially now those guys that they were recruiting are going to just go straight into the NBA. So Coach K in Duke, Coach Calipari in Kentucky, they're going to have to really get on their coaching game again and really, really coach their guys up and just not rely on just guys being super athletic and overly, just really talented to get them to where they need to go. Because I was telling a friend the other day, I'm like, look, you think about all the Kentucky teams that Calipari has had. And like I think I said this last week, they've only had one national championship, and that was the Anthony Davis team. Since then, God knows how many guys he's put in the NBA. Same thing with Duke. All the collection that they've had, and still nothing to show for. So it's definitely fun watching March Madness. Now, I can't say I'm going to watch regular season college basketball because to me, it just doesn't mean much. But in the March Madness, it means a lot because it's a stressful situation, especially now these kids are they're in a controlled bubble, not a bubble like the NBA was in the summer, but these games, man, they're here. One day you're playing, next day you're playing, and you can go home, man. So it's a lot of stress. I'm looking forward to the games tonight. USC and Kansas, that should be a good one, and Colorado and Florida State. So be on the lookout for those games, man, because honestly, that's why I'm keeping keeping this show short tonight, because I want to watch those games. I know you guys want to watch those games. So March Madness, keep watching it, man. We'll have an update next week by Wednesday because we'll know more what's going to happen tonight. So keep it moving. All right. Man, so for those of you who don't know, LeBron James, you'll see here on this play, suffered a severe high ankle sprain. He's going to be out sometime, weeks, possibly a month or so. You saw the play. I don't think it was dirty. John Collins, I believe, was the player that hurt LeBron. He was just diving for a ball. But you know it's bad when you see LeBron just writhing in pain and agony, slapping the ground. I mean, Laker Nation, there's two trains of thoughts on this, right? It doesn't look good, obviously, right now. First initial reaction, it doesn't look good. Obviously, losing AD for some time was not beneficial. And now losing LeBron. Now the Lakers have dropped their last two games without LeBron. They lost to Atlanta, and then they lost to the Phoenix Suns last night. Phoenix Suns are the second seed in the West. So, no shame in that. And the Hawks were like on a winning streak. I think they won like 10 in a row. So no shame in that. Those games are actually fairly competitive and close. But here's the thing. The good side about it is that you're giving your superstars much needed rest. We all know Anthony Davis is brittle, has not really played a full season in the NBA. I think last year was the first time, only because we had that break with COVID and the pandemic. Who knows? He might have got hurt in between that time. So we saw how he was when he came back into the bubble and how explosive he was and how unstoppable he was. Now, in the last couple months or so, actually the last month, people have been talking about LeBron James, probably dialing it down, trying to get rest because I think he's top 5 in minutes played. He's not a young chicken anymore. So him getting an injury, this might sound stupid, but it's probably like a blessing in disguise because now he's forced to get the rest that he potentially needs. Now, are the Lakers going to go fall out of the top 8 in the Western Conference? No, they won't. They're still good enough to win games in the West. It's going to be harder. I expect them to fall a little bit more, but I don't think them. I mean, maybe they fall to like a 6 seed because I believe they're 3rd or 4th right now. But getting that rest for LeBron is going to be pivotal and crucial, and especially for AD too. And if you're a higher seeded team, if you're the Jazz or hell, even the Suns at this point, say the Lakers fall to 7 or 8, do you really want to see the Lakers fully healthy with LeBron and AD? Because at the end of the day, no one has an answer for LeBron. No one has a person that they can stick to LeBron and guard him consistently. Now, I will say the Lakers do need to go out and make some moves. I'm not sure what move can be made. I've always wanted them to go after Bradley Beal because if you look at Brooklyn right now, Kyrie is not going to play the next 3 games. Kevin Durant is still out. God knows what's going on with him. But James Harden's still been able to carry that team and win some games. And wait till those other 2 come back. Brooklyn, by far, right now, is the leader in the clubhouse, I would say. They present a real challenge for a lot of NBA teams. I know the Sixers are number 1, and they look cute, and the Bucks are going to be there. But at the end of the day, Brooklyn has the best talent. They have the 3, arguably, They have 3 of the top 5 players in the NBA right now. And they haven't really played a full game. I mean, I think they've only played 2 or 3 games together, that big 3. But as far as the Lakers are concerned, I'm not sure what moves needs to be made, but they definitely need to make a move. I feel like right now, the Marc Gasol deal is not working out. I'm not sure why we let JaVale McGee, I'm saying we, but I'm not sure why the Lakers let JaVale McGee out the door, traded him away. I'm not sure why they didn't go aggressively after Dwight Howard. I know Dwight Howard decided to leave and go to Philly, but Marc Gasol, he's nice. He was a really good defensive player, but he's not the same guy anymore. Montrezl Harrell, he's a nice player. I don't know. It's not really, I'm not sure. I'm not blaming him. I think they're still a good team. They're still one of the top defensive teams in the league, but I don't know. They're missing something. Schroeder, they definitely need to keep, but I don't know if they have the assets at this point to trade and get someone like a Bradley Beal or Victor Oladipo, who might be on the market, because you look at the Houston Rockets, they've lost like 20 in a row. So Laker Nation, yes, it's still March. We still have games to be played. The playoffs count. That's when it really counts. So, but I want to see if they can hold serve right now. Kyle Kuzma is definitely going to have to step up. Dennis Schroeder is going to have to step up. And some of these young guys are going to have to step up. But will it be enough? Well, how far would they slide down? Now, if they stay where they're at, or at least finish 5th, to me, that's a win. That's a win. Because like I said, when you get LeBron back healthy, you get AD back healthy, no one in the West is going to beat the Lakers. They're just not. They're just not. So I'm not like nervous, but I'm definitely starting to kind of feel a little bit uncomfortable with the Lakers position right now. Because even if, LeBron does get rest, he might be rusty too, because he might miss a month. He might miss all of April. Because here's the thing with high ankle sprains, for those of you who've never had one, they're tricky injuries, man. Sometimes you feel like you're good. You go back out there, boom, you have a misstep, boom, it starts the whole process over. Same thing with AD and his groin. If you ever had a groin injury, it's the same concept. You feel good, feels nice, misstep, boom, you're right back at square one. So they have to be very cautious with that moving forward. But I don't know. I just feel like the Lakers have to make a move, but I don't know what move can they make given the assets that they have. So, all right, that's it, man. I'm at 27 minutes, close to 28 minutes on this show, but that's my time. That's all I got today, man. I know you guys want to get back and watching March Madness right now. This game is close between LSU and Michigan. LSU is up 49, 45 with 60 minutes left. So I want to enjoy that. I want you guys to enjoy that. So other than that, that's all I got. I appreciate you guys watching the show. For those who popped in, man, appreciate you guys. If you didn't watch the show live, make sure if you're watching now on a replay, make sure you share the content, like, and subscribe to my YouTube channel right now. Immediately, the link is in my bio on my social media platforms. Make sure you don't miss out on my next episode this Wednesday. Airs live at 5 p.m., same place, same time on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube Live, man. So until next time, everybody, this is Clutch Sports Talk Live with me, Ryan Flowers. Never settle till the work is done. Let's go. Clutch Sports Talk Live with Ryan Flowers is presented by All Pro Digital Sports, future in sports media content. Let's go.